Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Milo. Throughout Mortal Kombat's 30-year history, there have been many depictions of the conflict between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. These depictions over time have evolved and built off one another. Today, what we're going to be doing is ranking every fight between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Now, we're not going to be including any entries from the games like Mortal Kombat 9 or 4. Simply because in those games, they don't actually fight. You see the build-up or the aftermath, but the actual fighting is done by the player. But alright, let's get started. Number 10 is the fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins. This film came out in 1995 and served as a prequel of sorts to the live-action one. As such, it has a very early and unrefined version of these two stories. In this depiction, the Shirai Ryu and Lin Kuei have their best warriors compete in Outworld to determine which ninja clan is more superior. Scorpion, of course, is killed by Sub-Zero and haunts him for the rest of his days. It should be obvious why this entry is ranked where it is. This was released in the very early days of CGI animation, and even a year or two down the line did not stand the test of time well. Number 9 is Mortal Kombat Legacy 2. This is the culmination of a much more modern interpretation of the conflict, where Scorpion believes that Sub-Zero has killed his family and clan, and after his own death at the hands of the Lin Kuei ninja, is resurrected by Quan Chi and given supernatural powers for the singular purpose of exacting revenge and eliminating Sub-Zero. Unfortunately, the fight is plagued with issues, whether it's the hockey pad outfit that Sub-Zero is wearing or the subpar choreography. This fight does end in a fatality though, and that's pretty cool. Number 8 is from Battle of the Realms. So, an important distinction to make on this one, there are actually, for those that don't know, two Sub-Zeros, Kuai Liang and Bi-Han. The majority of fights that Scorpion has are with Bi-Han, and that's because Bi-Han is the one that Scorpion's quest for vengeance revolves around. But after Bi-Han's death, Kuai Liang, his younger brother, takes over the mantle of Sub-Zero. Because of this, it is definitely an uphill battle for any Kuai Liang fight to measure up to a Bi-Han versus Scorpion fight. But this fight has more of them being carried upward on air currents than actual fighting anyways. Number 7, MKX. While this one visually does look pretty cool, at the end of the day, it's a trailer showcasing a dramatized, choreographed version of an in-game match between these two. Number 6, Tournament Edition 2. This was one of the entries in the Malibu Comics continuity. In that depiction, Sub-Zero killed Scorpion not only the first time, but multiple times after. In their first encounter, Scorpion wounded Sub-Zero with his spear throw technique. Although in this interpretation, it's not a spear. Instead, it's a spike ball. However, the wound had an unintended side effect. After Scorpion became a revenant, Sub-Zero is able to sense his approach as the scar sears with pain whenever he gets close. But every time, Sub-Zero would defeat Scorpion, freeze him solid, and shatter him, only for Scorpion to rise in a fiery spectral form and vow that it would never be over until Sub-Zero was dead. Fast forward to the second Mortal Kombat tournament, which in the Malibu comics was a very unorthodox event. Instead of a standard bracket, the champion's medallion was placed in a faraway location, and the first to retrieve it would be crowned the champion of Mortal Kombat. At the culmination of this tournament, Sub-Zero battled Goro and defeated him, but before he could claim the prize, Scorpion appeared. Instead of once again engaging with his nemesis, Sub-Zero turned his back on Scorpion, instead going for the amulet. And while Bi-Han was able to claim the amulet and become the champion of the second Mortal Kombat tournament, he was also burned alive and killed by Scorpion in the same moment. Number 5, Mortal Kombat Conquest. This one was still in the era of mythologies, so it was trying to make Bi-Han the hero and Scorpion the villain. As a result, the conflict is drastically different from any other interpretation. Scorpion is an evil spirit that Shang Tsung releases from a literal scorpion and then goes on to possess somebody that becomes the Scorpion Ninja. Sub-Zero is actually the one searching for vengeance in this variation after Scorpion had his sister killed. Number 4, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. This is another Kuai Liang fight, only in this variation he has to come to terms with the fact that Liu Kang killed his brother and not Scorpion. This fight does have some cool stuff like fighting on an ice bridge, but it's abruptly cut off when Scorpion kidnaps Katana and teleports away, never to be seen in the movie again. Number 3. Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge. As the name would suggest, this animated movie is the most extensive exploration of the conflict between these two. This interpretation draws heavily from the Mortal Kombat 9 story mode and MK Legacy. It covers everything from Hanzo initially losing his family all the way up to avenging them at the Mortal Kombat tournament. However, the finale of this movie is his fight against Quan Chi, not Sub-Zero. So when he does confront Sub-Zero much earlier in the film, it's not as climactic as you would expect, but it is a solid fight with a nice fatality to top it off. Number 2 is Scorpion vs. Sub-Zero from the Mortal Kombat 2021 film. This movie certainly has its share of problems, but Scorpion and Sub-Zero are not among them. Bihan was a terrific choice to be the central villain of the story. Not only is the culminating fight between these two extremely well done, but the fatality to top it off is what really sells it. This fight would be number 1 if not for 2 reasons. The first is either Cole getting in the way or the camera cutting to him punching ice. And the second is that this fight owes its existence to the number 1 entry, which of course is their fight from Mortal Kombat Legacy 1. This fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero stood undisputed as the best fight between the two for a decade. Between the costume designs, the cinematography, and the choreography, everything was executed to perfection, which was pretty impressive considering it was a web series released on Machinima. For those that don't know, WB had no plans of making this. We owe it all to the initiative of one director named Kevin Tancherone. He's the one that approached them with his pilot Mortal Kombat Rebirth. And yet, fast forward years later, and his vision for Scorpion vs. Sub-Zero is not only what inspired Scorpion's Revenge, but also the 2021 film. Neither would exist in the way they do without Mortal Kombat Legacy. But alright, that's the list. If there's any that you think I missed, or if there's any entries that you would put at different spots on this list, let me know. But alright, thanks for watching. Goodbye.